Hey guys, I've been seeing a lot of stuff floating around Facebook that kind of prompted me to make this video. And it's going to be an emotional one, so hold on for the ride, okay? There's a lot that people getting into horses just don't know, and that they're so quick and so eager to believe what they're told just because they're not as experienced. And experience is something that we're going to talk about, because what really is experience? Okay, so that said, I'm going to share my journey with you guys. This was me and the little pony that started it all. I was in first grade, and I told my mom that I wanted a pony. So we get a pony, and at first glance, this picture of this little girl, or this little boy, because my mom cut my hair like a retard, riding this pony is absolutely adorable. And I love my pony. I love him so much that I gave him a pink bridle and a bit and a pink saddle pad. I wouldn't even put pink on myself, so why I chose pink, I don't know. But this is just an example of how people that don't know about horses don't know what they're getting into. And a lot of why ponies get a bad rap as being mean or fussy or whatever. I tormented this pony. I mean, it was, to someone that doesn't know, it's a cute picture of someone riding a pony, but to someone with a critical eye, it's this little kid's riding a pony. But is it really the kid's fault? No, it's the people that were around the kid that didn't know any better. So, you know, but he's what started it all. After that, we started raising and breeding Tennessee walking horses from the time I was 6 to the time I was 16. And this was one of them. She was a baby that was born on our farm, and we sent her to Tennessee to be trained by a professional walking horse trainer. And we were told that she needed a heavy shoe on the front to gait correctly, and she needed a big shanked bit to be able to gait correctly. This was one of the finest moving horses that we ever had, and she could move that way without shoes and without a bit. But we did it blindly because we were inexperienced, and we were taking advice from people that we thought were more knowledgeable and had more experience. That this was the way it had to be done. We didn't know any other way. There was no Clinton Anderson. There was no Pat Pirelli. There was Ray Hunt and the Dorrance brothers. But we weren't exposed to that. There was no RFD TV at this time to show these people in their horsemanship methods. So you either had to find someone that you thought was knowledgeable to lead you along the way in the path of horsemanship and being in the horse industry, raising, training, breeding, riding horses, to give you advice on what and how to do things. And so we bought into this big bit, put a shoe on it, mindset to get our horses to do what they do naturally if they're taught correctly. This was that mare's foal. This was a picture. My mom ran a website for her business. It was a business. That's what it was. It was about money. It was business. We had the babies so we could sell the babies, so we could support the farm. It turned from a pony to a business. And it's ugly. You think it's glamorous, but it's ugly. We had a stud chain on this baby. She was a yearling. We had a stud chain on her for why? So we could look fancy. So it could be marketable to the industry. Because that's what they did. It's not what we needed to do. It's what we had to do to market it. And because, again, we didn't know any better. We thought we did. look at this horse. This was a stud that we had, have a wonder bit in his mouth. Why is his mouth open? My hands are loose on the rein, right? Look closely at the outside rein. I was pulling on the outside rein. It wasn't necessary. It was absolutely unnecessary. This horse had no issues whatsoever. He could have been ridden without a bit, but he wasn't. But it's okay because I loved him so much. Let me take this picture of me hugging this horse, and in hindsight, I'm hiding the thing that I am so ashamed that I ever used. I'm covering up the bit. Not on purpose, but now I look at this and I see a reason behind it. This is hindsight, and to me, that means something. Now, after we sold all the horses, 6 years later, enter these two. The one on the left I got as a baby. The one on the right I got four or 5 years later. Okay? I started the mare, jumped right back into horsemanship and started the mare the old way. The way that I had been taught it needed to be done. I didn't know any better. I did some groundwork with her as a baby, as a yearling. Nothing bad, just what I had been taught to do. Lunge her, make her back up, teach her how to tie, pick up her feet. And I'm sure I made a lot of mistakes that at the time that I wasn't aware of. And certainly it showed up once we started her under saddle. The one on the right is actually a son of my dad's stud, so he's very special to me. And he shares a similar story. We got him, he had been ridden in a certain bit. We put him in that bit, which was a double twisted wire shank bit, which is an absolutely cruel and horrendous bit. And this was only 5 years, I haven't even had him for 3 years, so 3 years ago. And it came to my attention when I started having problems with my mare. She'd be tossing her head while I was riding her. She didn't like it when I put pressure on the bit. So I'd put more pressure to try to crank that head in to keep her from sticking her nose out. I didn't know any better. I was doing what I had been taught to do since I was 6 years old. So the first bit that I put in her mouth after she was started under saddle was a wonder bit. And that was the bit that caused a lot of problems. She was 3 years old in this picture. She's 6 now. Have a wonder bit on her. Other than that, I really don't have any other gimmicks. I tried everything to get her to not throw her head. I put a tie down on her, thought that would fix it. Fixed it for 5 minutes, and it just wasn't it wasn't a long-term solution at all. What changed me forever was looking for a solution on the internet and finding a video on YouTube that explained how bits worked. And what stuck out the most to me was how cruel of a bit the Tom Thumb was. That was our go-to bit. We used that on almost every horse. And I felt, at that point in my life, I felt ashamed that I had been doing that to my horses all those years. So I searched for another way. And I searched for a bitlet. I searched for a snaffle that may be a good option. And I do ride her in a snaffle. That's about the tamest you can get bit-wise. When we're working on refining things, we work in a snaffle. But what works best for her is what's on her face right now. She's a completely different horse under saddle. Anybody that knows this horse, that has seen her from the time she got started under saddle to how she is now, can attest to this transformation. And the same thing with TJ. Mr. Double Twisted Wire Snaffle, or Double Twisted Wire Shank Bit, not a snaffle. He rides bitless as well. And it's been a journey for me. But it's been a very fulfilling and remarkable journey for me, in a sense that I get more out of my horsemanship knowing that I can trust to be able to work with my horse as opposed to control my horse. You can call me a backyard trainer. That's fine. I never claimed to be a backyard trainer. I never claimed to be a trainer. All I seek to be in my horsemanship journey from today forward is someone that can share my story with other people and hope that they can see the light and don't have to think that just because someone has more years of experience trumps being knowledgeable about the horse, how the horse thinks, how the horse reacts to your body language, how the horse can react to just a look from you. I have learned more in my past 3 years of owning horses than I have from the time that I was 6 years old to the time that I was 16 years old, living on a farm, living every girl's dream when it comes to horses. You can teach an old dog new tricks. This is not something that's impossible. My gelding has been so happy since we made this bitless transition with him. And it's been a truly fulfilling bonding experience for me and my horse and my husband who's gone through this journey with me. There's nothing like seeing a horse that's respectful of you without having to create respect through fear. So I'm going to leave you with this little nugget of me riding my mare with one rein on an open trail. And she's Grandma's horse. I hope this changes your view on things, because it only took one video to change mine.